Phosgene, a name that immediately raises red flags, and for good reason. Once used as a chemical weapon, phosgene is still found today in industrial settings. Colorless, reactive, and incredibly toxic, it's a gas that requires precision monitoring and absolute respect. In this video, we'll cover where phosgene is used, how it affects the body, legal exposure limits, how to detect it, and what you need to keep your team safe. Phosgene, chemical formula COCl₂, is a colorless, suffocating gas as freshly cut hay. That deceptively mild odor is no comfort. It's a gas that can kill. Despite its deadly history, phosgene still plays a key role in industry. It's used to manufacture polycarbonate plastics, pharmaceutical intermediates, dyes and isocyanates, specialty chemicals like acyl chlorides. In many facilities, phosgene is produced on site, adding to its risk profile. Phosgene is dangerous for one critical reason. It reacts with water in the lungs to form hydrochloric acid and carbon dioxide, which causes severe pulmonary damage. Exposure symptoms include coughing and chest tightness, shortness of breath, delayed pulmonary edema, fluid buildup in the lungs, death, often hours after exposure, even if initial symptoms seem mild. This delayed reaction is what makes phosgene so insidious. People can feel fine after exposure, only to collapse hours later. The UK's Health and Safety Executive, HSE, classifies phosgene as a Category 1 toxic substance and sets extremely strict exposure limits under EH 40/2005, 8-hour TWA, time-weighted average, 0.1 ppm, 15-minute STEL, short-term exposure limit, 0.3 ppm, that's parts per million, meaning even the tiniest leak can exceed safe limits and become fatal. And unlike some gases, phosgene doesn't trigger a strong warning response. You might not realize you're being exposed. Because phosgene is so toxic and odor is unreliable, detection must be automated and highly sensitive. Detection methods include electrochemical sensors tuned for parts per billion accuracy, colorimetric detection tubes, useful for spot checks or validation, fixed gas detection systems, with real-time readouts and alarm interlocks, and portable COCl₂ detectors for maintenance teams and response crews. These systems are often integrated with automatic ventilation and emergency shutdown controls to reduce risk during leaks. Even 0.05 ppm should be treated seriously. Alarms should be set well below legal limits to ensure early intervention. Effective phosgene monitoring means covering all potential release points. Priority locations include gas generation or storage areas, transfer and offloading zones, pump and valve manifolds, ventilation exhausts and ducts, and operator breathing zones and confined spaces. Every second counts in the event of a leak. Automated alarm systems with evacuation protocols should be in place and well drilled. Working around phosgene demands a high level of safety discipline. Here are the golden rules. Use dedicated phosgene gas monitors. Don't rely on multi-gas units unless properly configured. Calibrate sensors regularly, ideally with certified COCl₂ gas. Ensure high-flow ventilation and scrubber systems are functioning. Wear full chemical PPE where leaks are possible. This includes face protection and supplied air. Install automatic shutoff valves linked to detection alarms. Train all staff in evacuation, first aid, and phosgene-specific response protocols. Always remember, you may not see or feel the leak. Your monitors are your first and only reliable warning. In the event of a suspected leak, 1. Evacuate the area immediately. 2. Activate the emergency response plan. 3. Initiate ventilation and shut-off protocols. 4. Use personal monitors to confirm safe conditions before re-entry. 5. Seek medical attention for anyone exposed, even if symptoms are delayed. Phosgene is essential in many chemical processes, but it's also one of the most lethal gases in industrial use. With proper detection, training, and safety systems, we can manage the risk and use this powerful chemical safely. Don't rely on your nose. Don't rely on luck. Rely on the right tools, the right procedures, and the right team. Know the limits. Monitor constantly. Respond instantly. That's how we protect lives around phosgene. For more industrial gas safety videos and detection solutions, follow our channel. And if your site handles Phosgene, contact us today for expert monitoring advice.